Keep a little bit of attention on your body, your breath, your energy, your thoughts. And let's move into doing a few minutes of inquiry around self-care. Self-care is something that we all would like to probably do better. We all take care of ourselves in a variety of ways. One thing that the nervous system does, the survival mechanism does, is that it comes in with fight, flight, freeze when there's any sense that we're in danger. Some of us have a mechanism that's a bit messed up because of trauma. We might have a perception of danger that's a little bit oversensitive. We might go into fight and be argumentative or go on the attack when we feel threatened. We might go into some kind of freeze or flight. And the way this can play out in our daily lives, especially around self-care, is that we might escape into something. It might be that we're taking care of ourselves by binge watching TV or movies. We might eat, we might go shopping, we might use alcohol or other drugs. We might have some kind of a process addiction like gambling, overwork. So in a sense, these are self-care. They tend to have a lot of negative side effects, and it's not exactly what we would hope or want for ourselves. So there's another way that we think about self-care, and that's to think about things that we could do that would be more nourishing, more nurturing for ourselves. So the inquiry today is really on why we often turn to the ones that aren't so good for us, and what could get us to a yes in doing self-care that's really actually helpful. So we can, read or watch TV or something to downregulate our nervous system, and it kind of does that by distracting ourselves and by giving our mind something else to do, so we get a bit of a break from the compulsive thinking in the mind. And there are other ways to do that as well. We could go for a walk, we could go outside into nature, we could call a friend, we could do a practice, we could tune in and sit with the feelings. We could go to bed if we're tired, get some sleep or rest. For a few minutes, let's see what comes up when we look at this whole issue of choosing self-care that's more nourishing or more nurturing for ourselves than what we might do some of the time. Even just as I was speaking, there's probably words, images, maybe examples in your own life that have come up. Notice those, and notice as well any energy or response in your body as you look at the words and images that are coming up. And then whatever it is that's coming up, bring your focus to one thing, one activity or something that you could do more often, that you sometimes feel reluctant to do or you just kind of don't do. And then let's sit with that specific action that you could take for better self-care, that you could really nourish and nurture yourself. bring to mind what happens when you do that activity. See if there are any images or sensations in your body as you're paying attention to what happens when you do it. Continue to notice your breathing as well. And then consider what's going on when you're reluctant to do that activity. Even though you know that other times you've done it, it's felt really great. It's been truly nourishing and relaxing. And yet at times you won't do it. There's something in the way. And let's look at that for a moment. Sometimes I'm reluctant to do this because we're not really trying to think it through. We're more noticing what comes up. I know I'd like to do that, but I don't because notice as well a feeling in your body, any sensation or energy. And then see if there's something that would come to mind around what would help you to get to a yes. So if the example is staying up late watching Netflix instead of going to bed, what is it that might be helpful to think about or do when you're in that situation later tonight or the next time that happens? What's stopping you from doing that, or what could you do that would help and make it more likely that you do that? Just noticing what comes up, not so much trying to plan. Notice what comes up when you think about that, when you turn your attention there. And finally, notice if you can hold this whole thing in compassion for yourself. If you can be kind in your thinking about it, even though it might be frustrating. Notice if you can be kind to yourself as you're holding that in your awareness.